Imagine a farmer named Jose going to the airport to buy a private jet. The employees and other customers are rude and biased toward him. When Jose arrives, the salesperson judges him based on his looks, thinking that someone who looked like him couldn't possibly be able to afford such an expensive jet. The salesperson was expecting a more elegant and well-dressed buyer, not a simple farmer. However, Jose goes against their expectations and shows genuine interest in the plane. While Jose continues to look at it with interest, the salesperson gets impatient and says, "Well, if you're not interested, I'll have to leave." Jose is shocked by this rude behavior and feels compelled to explain. "I'm really interested in buying," he says. The salesperson's dislike of you grows when they find out that the farmer is interested, and other customers start to judge you too. Jose talking loudly to him. "He doesn't look like someone who can buy this. He must be lost." People start to look at Jose in a mean way, making him feel open and uncomfortable, even though he is buying His dream was to have a jet. He starts to wonder if it's worth the shame, but he doesn't give up and chooses to keep going. A short time later, he is startled by a tap on the shoulder. When Jose quickly turns around, he sees an old friend standing next to him with a smile. The friend is wearing a striped shirt and pants and has a slightly misshapen stomach. "If it isn't my old friend Jose, what are you doing here?" the man jokes. The two men start talking like old friends, which helps Jose feel better even though he is still uncomfortable with the judgmental stares around him. "Are you here to buy a plane?" His old friend asks Jose. "Are you thinking about it?" Jose hesitates, but eventually says, "Yes, I am. But I don't feel like I fit in with these people here, if you know what I mean." "Don't mind these rich snobs. They don't know anything," the friend says, and the two of them laugh. Despite the humor, Jose can't escape the constant side looks and whispers from people who are clearly making fun of him. It doesn't look like he's here to buy a jet. Maybe he just came to take a picture, someone says. Jose notices that the men are preparing to photograph him, clearly not to capture a memory, but to mock him. Their taunts grow bolder and unwilling to kill those to which they belong. The people themselves fail to take pictures, but sees with their eyes the corpses that they make upon them. Jose feels increasingly uneasy, his heart racing. He begins to follow his old friend towards the exit, but a loud, authoritative voice stops him in his tracks. "Hey, you there!" The farmer who's here to buy a jet shouts at one of the men, loud enough to draw everyone's attention. "Do you think anyone's going to take you seriously dressed like that? That dirty hat? You should go back to your farm. Everyone in the airport is now looking, including the salesperson." Jose stops and turns slowly towards the group, his heart pounding even harder. Though inexperienced with conflict, he feels a surge of pride and determination welling up inside him. "I'm getting a plane for myself, not to impress anyone," Jose says loudly, his voice confident. The guys laugh mockingly. "No matter what you do, you'll never be one of us. Look at yourself. Your clothes are stained and your boots are dirty. You don't even look like a nice person." Jose repeats their words, ironically raising the corner, his mouth in a sarcastic smile. "I'm more than nice. I'm someone with the courage to chase his dreams, even if it means going against the grain," he retorts. The men laugh again. "Oh, you must be dreaming. Let's count how many years it'll take you to save enough money." "It'll take more than a lifetime. And even if you somehow manage to buy a jet, who's going to fly it for you? You're just a nobody. Go back to your farm and stick to what you're good at," as the laughter echoed around him. Jose felt his anger rise. He tried to control it, but his pride and determination grew stronger. He stood tall and looked directly at the man who had spoken. "I'm not dreaming, and I have proof," he said confidently. Silence fell over the group as everyone watched Jose's next move. His expression was resolute, his stance defiant. Jose then produced a check that matched the exact price of the jet. "You say I can't buy a jet?" he asked, locking eyes with the men. The group was shocked. Some of them averted their gazes, and the disdain on their faces quickly turned to shock and embarrassment. I think we should leave, one of them stammered, avoiding Jose's gaze. We don't want any trouble. But Jose wasn't about to let the matter drop. What's this? Jose raised his voice, demanding silence. I want my son to know what you've done. He pulled out his phone and called his son, who was a lawyer. You need to get here right now. There are several guys discriminating against me, including the salesperson, Jose said, his voice filled with anger. In less than an hour, Jose got a call back. I've arrived, said his son firmly. The airport door swung open with force, and everyone turned to look. Jose's son, walking a dark-skinned man, impeccably dressed in a sharp suit, his appearance a stark contrast to how the men at the airport had treated his father. Dad, are you okay? His son asked. Jose nodded. Yes, I'm fine. The men at the airport now looked at Jose's son with unease. You'll pay for what you've done to my father, the lawyer said, his voice unwavering. I'm here to make things right. He walked through the group, demanding information from each of them. I'll sue every one of you in the company you work for discrimination. Jose and his son left the airport, walking back to their car, the judging of stairs, and the men followed them until they were out of sight. I'm so proud of you, Jose said, putting a hand on his son's shoulder. The case was taken to court, and a mediation hearing was arranged to discuss the situation. Jose's lawyers prepared to present their case, showing how he had been discriminated against and humiliated in the courtroom. Jose and his son made their case eloquently and powerfully, backed by witnesses and documents proving the discrimination. Jose had faced the judge. After hearing both sides, seemed irritated by the situation. From what I've seen, it's evident that Jose was treated unfairly. A person's appearance should never be grounds for discrimination, that's clear. However, the judge hesitated, but I cannot ignore the fact that the employees involved also have their side of the story. There are always two sides to every story, Jose's lawyer interrupted indignantly. With all due respect, Your Honor, my client is a hardworking and deserving person. The judge raised a hand to silence him. You're right, Jay has every right to feel anger and to fight for his rights. Je smiled timidly, feeling the courtroom sway in his favor. But the judge's next words were unexpected, however. So it's not always the case, the judge went on. The judge continued, I must also consider the company involved. They have a reputation to maintain, a brand to preserve the room when silent, tension thick in the air. I believe the judge said that instead of simply condemning the company, Jose and the company should work together to find a solution. If the company acknowledges its error and competent was reused again, changes its attitude, I may consider reducing the penalty. One of Jose's lawyers stood up, outraged. We cannot accept this proposal. The company committed a serious violation against Jose and must be held accountable. Another lawyer joined in. Jose was humiliated by this company and its workers. We won't let this go without repercussions. The judge, though irritated by the lawyer's fervor, agreed with them. If that's how you want to proceed, then we'll start the trial, the judge declared coldly. But remember, if you don't have solid evidence, you could lose everything. Thus the trial began. Jose watched with both interest and apprehension as his lawyers built a compelling and strong case, highlighting the discrimination and humiliation he had experienced. The company's lawyers tried to deflect the accusations, but Jose and his team were diligent and competent. The trial intensified as both sides fought desperately to prove their points. Jose remained optimistic but nervous. While the evidence seemed to favor him, the judge's stance was not yet clear. As they awaited the verdict, the courtroom doors opened and a familiar face entered. Who wants to testify? The judge asked, visibly perplexed. The new witness was a mysterious woman, a staff member from the airport who had offered to testify. Well, it seems we have another witness, the judge said. If you have relevant recordings, we'll accept them as evidence. Patricia, the witness stepped forward with a determined look. "I heard everything," she said, loudly, "and I recorded it all, of course. They tried to stop me, but I wouldn't let them treat Jose this way." The judge was taken aback by the new developments. Patricia connected her phone to the courtroom system and began playing the recordings. The room fell silent as the sounds of mocking and derision echoed throughout the jury when the recordings finished. The judge was visibly stunned. Gathering his papers, he took a moment to process what he had just witnessed. In light of the evidence presented, this court finds that Jose was indeed discriminated against and humiliated by this company, the judge declared, lowering his glasses to stare at the company's lawyers. "They have much to learn about respect," the judge continued. "Therefore, the court orders the company to pay a substantial fine and to conduct sensitivity training for all employees." The sound of the gap echoed through the courtroom. Jose felt victorious as he left the courtroom with a smile, his lawyers already planning to use the fine as an investment fund for him to buy an even better jet than before. Jose returned to the airport with a large check. Walking confidently with his head held high, the airport employees, who had once mocked him, now looked at him with embarrassment and disappointment. Stopping Jose, turned to face the staff who had humiliated him. "Still think I'm a nobody?" Turning back, he declared, "Loudly, I'm going to buy my jet, but not from you. I'm going to your rival. They deserve my money, not you." Jose walked to the competitor's store, buying the best jet he could afford. As he boarded his new jet, the staff from the other store could only watch in regret. Jose flew home in his new plane, cheerful and confident as never before. His wife and children welcomed him with open arms. As they gathered to celebrate, Jose looked at his new with pride, reflecting on the important lessons he had learned through this experience. To all viewers, I hope you liked following Jose's journey in this story. If you found this incredible, don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.